it does. It matters here. It matters everywhere. Because revolutions always happen at a grassroots level. People have a child killed by the Revolutionary Guard or by the police. People have things taken from them. The rich man in the government, the rich mullah, enjoys luxury where the man on the street does not. It causes dissatisfaction.
Okay.
And a lot of sabotage and a lot of those sorts of things happen at the common man level. Look at the resistance in Europe during World War II. I mean, it was carried out with Allied support by the men on the street.
Yeah, but I don't. I was thinking of that analogy too, and I didn't think really they may have added to the effort, the Allied effort, but I don't think they could have overthrown the Nazi regime by themselves. They just didn't have that. Rick, did you have something?
Yeah, by the time we in this country start seeing the pictures of the hungry kids in Iran and the mothers trying to find food for their children, and by the time we see by the time we start seeing those humanitarian pictures, they've already lived it a lot longer. And the stress of the people right now, they are to a point of breaking. And they know who the blame is. It's their government. Who's the first blame? When we're having hard times in this country, who's the first ones we blame? The government. It's no different in Iran. And I think the sanctions are going to prove productive. I think it's going to get the people on the street, the man on the street, to finally stand up and say, enough's enough.
Is there going to be a secular military like under Ataturk in Turkey that's going to say enough of this nonsense? Larry?
I don't think so.
Oh, darn.
I think it's something short of that. The Turks are very different than the Persians and than the Iranians. I don't see a secular government coming into power, but I do see a moderate Islamic government coming into power, and that alone allows for. It allows for tolerance for Christians. It allows for tolerance for other things that the mullahs now do not tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
It allows for more an even-handed approach. And as soon as they start doing that, you'll see sanctions lifted, and people will be happy, and things will change for the better. But living in Iran right now, I mean, who would want to do that?
Okay.
So what you're saying is they'll become more like the Syria of the 90s.
Yeah, I think you could easily see something far more like that, where it's not a secular government, but it's something in between that allows for moderation.
And that would leave Hezbollah high and dry in Lebanon, right?
High and dry. That'd be the end of Hezbollah.
Well, that'd be great.
In my consulting work today, I know of situations where members of the Iranian government have reached out to try and generate a situation where there would be a more moderate approach. And in each case, those people were shut down very quickly.
But it's there.
There are a lot of important people in Iran today who want a moderate government and a moderate approach, and they want construction, and they want highways, and they want everything that we all want, right? Infrastructure.
So you're not.
They want food on the tables. They want happy people, and it takes at least a moderate approach to life and everything else. And the current government does not allow for any of that.
So this calls for a degree of patience on our part. Is that something we shouldn't turn them into a parking lot full of glass with the occasional landing light on it?
Well, my initial reaction is the same as everybody else's. It's just exactly what you said. Turn Iran into a sea of radioactive glass. But really, I think that's doing the world a disservice, and it's probably doing the honest people, the good people in Iran a disservice. And I think by proportionally responding in such a way that hurts the government, not helps them, should be our gold standard. And the Bolton concept of, nuke them till they glow and use their asses for runway lights, I don't think that's appropriate right now. And certainly not, as President Trump has pointed out, there was no loss of American life. They shot down a drone, not an airliner. I think if you'd seen them shoot down an airliner or do something like that, different response.
Alex?
Yeah, I'm thinking of relatively recent history. In the old Soviet Union, before it collapsed, first we had glasnost, and Ronald Reagan put pressure on the old Soviet empire, and eventually you had the Soviet Revolution. They got rid of it. They toppled the USSR to everyone's benefit. And maybe if we keep applying the pressure and the sanctions, somewhere down the road we'll have that happy ending too.
There you go. Yeah.
I think we all hope for that. Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to say goodbye to Gary from Hazel Park because he had hung up and I hadn't noticed then. So we'd like to take a call real quick from Paul from Ann Arbor. He has a point, and we have like a couple minutes to do that. So, Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey there, guys. I'm listening to you here. Fascinated. I just want to throw out a stream of consciousness kind of response that I had to when I was listening to you. And the phrase, there's a lot of ruin in a nation, which I believe Adam Smith is attributed to Adam Smith, comes to mind when I hear people say, well, the man on the street will be very disgruntled and therefore change will occur. Yeah, maybe eventually, but look at Venezuela, look at the Soviet Union, look at how long it takes for the disgruntled population to actually change things in power. And I'll hang up and just listen to your response. Thanks.
Yeah, well, thanks, Paul. Rick, you have something.
I'm ex-Navy myself.
That can be cured.
I'm a Navy guy, but I'm not one who sits here and cries out for war. We have to remember, and as your guest was pointing out, there are some really great people there in Iran. War kills a lot of innocents. We have to remember that. So if we can deal with this without going to war, amen.
Hey, folks, there's the music. And Larry, our guest has been Larry Lambert. Check him out at Virtual Mirage. And just Google it or DuckDuckGo it. You'll find it. Alex, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Rick, thanks for sitting in.
Thank you.
It's been your host, Ed Bonderenka. And Gary's a good boy. We'll let him out of the closet. He can come back on the air next week. Thank you very much.